Oh my god! Nuclear holocaust on the drones!
Alright guys, hello and welcome to UC Davis Casting. This is AlphaFerg, and I'm going to be casting a game between Chaos Techs. He's actually goes by a different name within the club, CVG Vocaloid, a recent member. And this is VVV Ruff. Actually, wait, no, Vocaloid is a high school student, I think. I think his name is Matt Choi. But he wants to come to UC Davis, so that's good enough for me. Meanwhile, in the red here is VVV Ruff, part of the VVV clan. I don't know what VVV stands for, but it probably starts with the letter V. So let's just watch the player. It's going to be a nice TvT on Antiga Shipyard. Woohoo! I've been messing with my hotkeys so I can do things like this a lot easier. At will. Because I map them to different keys, because for some reason the Blizzard standard doesn't control W. Yeah, I don't like it as control W, so not going to do that. And in the meantime, I'm just going to talk about what both players are doing. Both players playing pretty standard. They know it's a TvT. Chaos, I'm just going to call him Vocaloid, choosing to wall in here, nice, kind of protecting his mineral line as opposed to a wall-in kind of style here. But look at what they're doing. Very different builds right out the gate. Ruff is building a really early 4 SCV, now back to 3 refinery. And Vocaloid is actually putting down a barracks right at his natural entrance. Pretty standard stuff. I actually like this, especially on this map, because there's a ramp right here that you can rally on and prevent any SCVs from getting into. Maybe this one will actually definitely get in before the Marine is produced, but that's okay, because the Marine will be able to hunt down and kill it. Meanwhile, Vocaloid has gotten his own refinery. And Ruff is getting his as well. So in the meantime, Vocaloid will have the economy advantage, because he does have the earlier orbital command. That's okay. Ruff is probably going to go early tech, and let's take a look. Really early bunker. Was that a misclick? It looks like instead he's going to put down a factory. There it is. Must have been a misclick. I don't know why. U is pretty far away from F. Yeah, there's definitely no sign of pushing. Maybe he was afraid for a 2-rack for just a second, but it's nowhere in sight. In the meantime, it looks like Ruff is going to open up with Hellions. But this SCV might get there just in time to scout them, so we'll see what happens. In the meantime, both players getting their economy going. No sign of an extra command center now. A nice factory here on the high ground for Vocaloid. Looks like he's rallying all the way across the base. He's getting ready to push. He's going to see the reactor. He's going to see the Hellions. Oh! And an almost immediate cancel at the very last second for Ruff, and he responds by putting down a very fast starport, a second gas, and Vocaloid's going to try to move these 3 Marines in here to do some damage. There's only 1 Marine, but of course he does have the advantage of being high up on this cliff, able to shoot at Vocaloid's Marines just like a badass buddy. And there's nothing actually in production here. He's getting out a fast Hellion. I don't know if... Oh, but he lines up his Marines, and this Hellion says, "Good day, mate. I just burned 2 of your buddies." But he does go down to 42 health, and it looks like this last Hellion's going to be just fine. And while the starport finishes, let's see, he did... Vocaloid did see the starport, and just moving up this ramp really quick, he's going to see that starport on the tech lab, which is gonna mean Banshee, and in fact there it is in production. So let's see what he does in response. He has fast expanded, not really a fast expanded 27, but he has expanded, and he responds by putting down his own starport. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a lot of Marines. Looks like there's a second reactor, and he's getting out his own Hellions as well. Hellion on Hellion, of course, really popular during the summer of last year, when the Terran dominance caused so many TvTs to happen. So we'll see how these people are on their Hellion control. Of course, this kind of stuff's fun. Hellions do bonus damage to themselves because of that bonus light there with 14. but Banshees do bonus damage to anything that can't fire up. But it's going to be okay. He already has a Viking in production. It's going to be done well before the Banshee gets in here. And moving it just straight across the map, hoping to intercept, this is going to mean lights out for this poor Banshee, unless, of course, he moves right past it without seeing it. A huge mistake there, and now this Banshee is just going to go to work. He realizes he moved way too far away. And this Banshee is going to get one kill, a second kill, third kill even. But Vocaloid has a pretty heavy attack here coming in. Banshees, siege tanks. It looks like this Viking is trying to kill it off. But it does manage to get 2 more kills before being killed by the missile turret. Of course, here comes the mules. In the meantime, no sign of expansion from Ruff, so he is going pretty aggressive with the siege tank. He does have siege mode completed, and all that Vocaloid really has here to fend it off is Banshees and lots of Hellions, which actually should be fine. He did build his own Viking, so as long as... I don't know. It's going to be an interesting engagement because actually adding a second Viking here means he will have the air superiority, so his Banshee will be okay, but this Banshee... Actually, there is no Banshee. He's going to have siege range. And here comes the attack, burning a lot of Marines, but running away, and now these Hellions realize they have the numbers. They can roast pretty much anything. That's one of the only times you're ever going to see this kind of combination take out a siege tank. But when you have the numbers, that's okay. Throwing away his Vikings. But now he doesn't have the anti-air he needs, and this Banshee, which is still alive, is going to be able to pick off pretty much anything left in this attack until another Viking gets out on the field. It's not even there, not even producing any. So as long as these Hellions can keep picking off the Marines, these tanks are not going to be into own, but he loses the Banshee, and now these Hellions are just going to kill tanks. Never thought I'd say that twice in a game. That's okay. Because really what's happening is VDD Ruff did not choose a great time to attack. He did not have siege up until just now. These Hellions are now sad pandas. But nicely moving in, so the siege does kill both of the units. Let's take a look at the economies really quick. Vocaloid is up by 3 workers. He does have his base finished. This base isn't even ready until just now, when all of these SCVs are going to come out to say, hello, Daddy, thank you for giving us a place to work. And Vocaloid getting a 3rd, really like that decision, though he's probably going to want to switch to siege tanks. But instead it looks like he is just producing siege tanks. Where is that? Not from there. Oh, there's a factory in back here. Yeah, so he's getting lots of siege. Siege mode is completed. He does have quite a number of Banshees and the Hellions to soak up some of the damage. In the meantime, it looks like Ruff is going to have to face off an attack because Vocaloid has a 20 supply advantage, which is pretty good in a mirror matchup, but looks like he's just going to secure his lead. Sorry, I had dinner just before this. And it looks like he's going to move in with these Hellions, trying to see the 3rd timing. It's not there. It's not even close, actually. There's no command center on the map here. But what Ruff is doing is he's getting Banshee Cloak, which is a really interesting decision after having shown Banshees earlier in the game, and knowing that Vocaloid has lots of Vikings out on the map. So if he can win the Viking advantage, though, the Banshees will do a lot, especially in tank marine matchups. Just having one extra Banshee can do so much. So we'll see how that works out for him. In the meantime, he's actually just not building tanks, which is an interesting decision. He might actually just be going Sky Terran. In fact, he puts down another starport, so I'm going to call it right now that he is going Sky Terran. Screw walking on the ground when you can fly. I believe that is advice from Peter Pan. Take that to the bank. And these Hellions actually do manage to scout, and this Marine getting a perfect scout to see the size of the army. And both players going Blue Flame Hellion, despite the fact Banshees of Hellions mass 4 Banshees or 4 Vikings against 3 means that 3 wins, and the Banshees are forced to run away. Meanwhile, these Marines are trying to move forward, but they're not quite there yet. They don't have stim, and it looks like it's going to be a Viking Hellion Banshee against Viking Hellion Banshee Raven Marine tank. I'm not going to argue with that because they're good players, much better than me. And you can't see a 4th actually being put down here. It can be turned into an orbital command just to take advantage, or even a planetary fortress if he wants to. But I like that decision, and I like this placement because if he does turn it into a planetary fortress, nothing is coming up this ramp unless it has a lot of friends. Here we get to see our first Blue Flame versus Blue Flame engagement. Of course, Blue Flame Hellions versus Blue Flame Hellions doing even more bonus damage against themselves. And I like this decision by Vocaloid. He saw Sky Terran. He is going to transition into Thor. And the Thor is going to be able to do a lot of damage against this kind of an army. And these Hellions are going to do great jobs massing, doing a lot of damage. And he's going to need to use a Raven here. He's going to need to use Point Defense Drone. And it is out on the map. But the Raven has gone down, so these Banshees are going to do a lot of damage. And the Viking numbers for Ruff have taken the lead, making these Banshees practically invulnerable, as there is no anti-air on this army. And the Banshees are going to take a lot of damage out. He's going to have to rely on this Thor, and it does a huge volley. Actually, not that much on the Vikings, but the Banshee is now in play. This Thor is going down. He is trying to target the Banshees, but 2 of them are out. These SCVs are too late. The Banshees are resuming their damage. Here is a missile turret, but he is now producing 2 Thors at a time. They need to be out on the field to be of any use. And Ruff is trying to move his way into the base. There is no missile turret here, and these SCVs are going to take a lot of damage until this Thor comes out. It's actually not even halfway done. Let's just take a look. This is pretty brutal. You can see the SCV kill count going down by the second, and now this orbital command is say, I never did anything to you. Why do you hate me, Dad? And smartly lifting off. So he does have Vikings on the field. He wants to move them in because he can definitely see them. I'm not sure. He's not reacting. He's trying to take this. He is getting his 4th up, but the Thor finally comes out and does manage to get the 1-2 combo hit on those Vikings. And wow, look at this decision. He is going really Sky Terran. And in the meantime, he is moving in with some Hellions. He's going to get a lot of kills here if Ruff doesn't react correctly. In fact, just look at this. Already 5 kills, 7 kills between them, 9 kills. The Banshees are coming, but is it too late? 8 workers killed total. 9 all in all, and that is a pretty heady economy. It looks like Vocaloid is going to be still way ahead in damage, and have some Hellions here just to die. That's okay. Because he is actually expanding all the way across the map, and he's going to get a bunch of missile turrets, hopefully, to defend this base, but that doesn't help against Hellions. So basically, I think the decision-making... Actually, he has a ton of minerals. He might go BCs and dual armory. You can do that. But there is actually a scary number of Thors here. There are Vikings. There's a Raven to put down point defense drone. He's going to have to react really quickly, though, when it comes out. And here come the Hellions. Will they be picked off? Yes. And this air army is just going to turn around. I think this is a pretty good combination. It's a pretty good place for Vocaloid to be in, but the